Hey guys, welcome to Awaken Nutrition Week 1. I am here with Brianna Lamb, who's going to be joining me for the next 12 weeks as we deliver a weekly video that's going to cover a pertinent topic for the stage of the program that you're in. So we're super excited to be delivering this program to you. It is a new program for Awaken Training Series. Awaken Nutrition is going to be your guide to building better quality nutrition practices that will hopefully sustain you for a long time. There are a lot of programs that are out there that want to tell you exactly how much of something to eat. And I believe, and I think we believe this together, that we want this to stand apart from those programs in how it helps you learn and focus on the practices and the principles of quality eating that can last you for a long time. So, Awaken Nutrition is not a macro prescription. It is a look at how you should be eating and what things go into building a quality lifestyle around your training to help you reach your goals of aesthetic, performance, and health faster. So what I want to just say is that please take this first week to really familiarize yourself with the PDF that you received. The PDF outlining the program has details about exactly how you should be tracking your points every single day. It has insight as to why certain things are weighted more heavily than others, why aspects of the lifestyle and the food bonuses that are available deserve the points that they're getting. And we welcome all your feedback and we welcome your questions. We know there's going to be a lot of them, so please direct them to Fitbot and we'll be getting back to you soon. And ensure that you're a part of our Facebook group for Awaken Nutrition. That's a closed group that's going to be only available to you guys. So, Bri, why aren't we giving people macro prescriptions first?
Yeah, so like you said, we want this to be sustainable and create success for you for years and years and years to come. This isn't just a 12-week program for us. This goes way beyond that. So if we can look at how you're eating your food, why you're eating it, and how your body's responding to the foods you're eating, that way we can set you up for years and years to come.
Right. I mean, and I think we would both say that the interaction that your body has with the food that it's eating is far more important than the quantity of the food that you give it. If you have 1,000 calories of something that your body doesn't digest or it gets inflamed by, it's very different than 1,000 calories of something that your body digests really well, feels energetic from, and doesn't get inflamed by.
Yeah, absolutely. And to your point of there is a time and place to look at quantity of food if you have all of the principles and lifestyle pieces dialed in as well. If you eat 1,000 calories of something that your body responds really poorly to, it actually makes you more tired and takes more energy away from your body than if you're eating 100 or 1,000 calories of something that your body loves and can totally process well.
Absolutely. So, big reason as to why we've developed this program that we have. We know that you guys are going to ask questions about how much you're supposed to be eating, and there will be a time and a place for getting to that. And right now, I want you guys to just relax, give yourself a break from counting, don't worry about the numbers, and worry about the weekly quality focus that we're going to be giving you. So there's two topics we're going to hit on today. They're the topics that we want you really thinking a lot about this week, and of course as the weeks go on, they're going to remain in your understanding of like principles of importance. We're going to talk about hydration, and we're going to talk about chewing your food. I'll start by saying that hydration there's points on the board every single day for adequately hydrating yourself. You should be, again, familiarizing yourself with the PDF. It tells you exactly how many ounces of water you're supposed to be drinking each day.
You can start counting.
Yeah, that is one place you can start counting, okay? Which actually reminds me to go back to this and say that when you start, it's really important that you guys take regular body weight, progress photos, and if you have access to a body composition analysis machine or tool, I really highly recommend that you do that before starting. You guys are going to want to have accountability and ways to track your progress as you go. And the reason I wanted to come back to this is because your body weight is going to reflect how much water you guys are supposed to be drinking each day, and that is pure water. So there's a calculation in figuring that out. I'm sure you guys can locate that in your PDF. But the point is, and the big picture is, that our bodies are 60 to 65% water at any given time. We are made up of trillions of cells, and these are my two little images of cells, okay? This is a well-hydrated cell, and this is a poorly hydrated cell. So yeah, so sad. So as a visual, I want you guys to think, here's a cell that's hydrated with all of these different subatomic particles in it. There's proteins, there's a nucleus, there's DNA in there. All of that stuff requires lots of things to happen, connect, be present around a fluid area to process and function correctly and function efficiently. If you can see in my little mini diagram, when the cell's size shrinks as a result of having less fluid inside or being dehydrated, a lot of those subatomic particles get mashed together, and it makes it so that they don't process as efficiently. So on a cellular level, that's what's happening, and on like a kind of a broad view of what you're experiencing, when you're hydrated, we can see increased performance, we see increased alertness, we see people having increased immune function. We actually see people having improved digestion, so better bowel movements, better absorption of nutrients from their food. And then the last big one, which many of you have experienced, it is sugar cravings, or the perception that I need to have more carbohydrates, which I know for many of you on this program is, and you will learn this as we go, it is the macronutrient and part of our nourishment that has the most variability to it depending on your goals. But what we definitely want, we want to reduce the amount of processed sugars that we have. And when people are dehydrated, they will often perceive that as I need sugar or I need salt, and they will reach for processed things. So set yourself up for success by hydrating and getting all of these benefits every single day, and earn your points for your hydration as you go. So Bree's going to tell you about our morning ritual that we have.
So like Marcus said, what's really important about making sure you don't have a ton of these in your body, it actually makes your blood move like tar. So it's really hard to circulate, and we can't get all of those substrates like Marcus talked about, like the proteins and the sugars that our body uses if we're looking at performance. It's really hard to move your blood around and get the performance and alertness and immune system function we're looking for. So how we start our day here at Arrival Strength is 8 to 10 ounces of water, pure water, half of a lemon, squeeze the lemon juice in there, and a pinch of pink salt. So what this can do is it hydrates your cells first thing in the morning. If you have some food left over in your gut that you didn't chew so well, that acidity can start breaking down some of those particles that are left in there, and it can improve the pH of your gut. So our gut is responsible for majority of our immune system function, and the healthier we can get the gut and the more balanced that pH can be, then the better we're going to be able to fight any sicknesses that can come in the wintertime. And also, again, improve daily digestion. So if we're hydrating our cells, then we can actually absorb all the minerals and nutrients that our food's giving us.
Yeah, and one additional thing there is our digestive systems have enzymes in them, and those enzymes are responsible for breaking down the food that you eat. Over the course of the night, as you're sleeping, those enzymes quiet down because there was no food really there. Yeah. You digested it all. So by having something with a little bit of lemon in it, it starts to kickstart a little bit of the digestive enzyme process inside the gut, which will prep you better for food that's going to be coming in breakfast, lunch, later in the day. So again, that's part of the improving daily digestion as well. So take your hydration seriously. We're talking about it first because it's actually more important in many ways than the food that you're going to eat. So set yourself up for success with your food by really prioritizing this every day for the next 12 weeks. So we'll talk about next chewing your food. And we mentioned the gut a couple times, the digestive system, which starts at your mouth and ends at your anus. Okay, it's really this long 40+ foot length tube, and there are many parts of it. And throughout those different parts, we have different levels of digestion and food breakdown that happen. But we know people miss the boat a lot of times, and you might be in this boat. I know I was for a long time before it became into my awareness, is that digestion actually starts in your mouth, and it starts the moment the food hits your palate and you begin to chew, okay? Chewing is the only place within the digestive system where in your mouth where you actually have teeth. So when we eat things that are actually fibrous or meat that has tendons and ligaments, and when we're eating, solid foods, if those pass through our mouth and into our small intestine and start the digestive process there without being chewed, all you have is like enzymatic liquid inside your gut to break that down. And and one of the things that we know is that if we overwhelm our digestive system with too many big chunks of food, we can create a stress response. We will not be able to digest and absorb nutrients from the food. We will ultimately have the growth of the wrong types of bacteria, or maybe an overgrowth of bacteria in our gut in the wrong places. So we want to remind you that every time that you guys sit down to eat, chewing has to be a priority. And we like to think if you can take roughly 20 chews per bite of food, that would do a lot of things, which Bree's going to talk about in a second. But it sets the tone for making sure that your food is properly digested before it even reaches your small intestine, where the rest of the digestive process is going to happen. So I put up this little note saying inside the gut. Remember, down inside your belly, you don't have teeth. And so if you skip that part by shoveling your food down too quickly, or taking a bite, swallowing it, taking a bite, swallowing it, never putting your fork down and just shoveling, you are missing a huge opportunity to, and this is the one that's going to get your attention, lose body fat and increase performance. So chew your food. Okay, what else is chewing our food doing for us?
Well, and also, even before we put the food in our mouth, let's talk about what we need to do in order to get ready to digest our food. So just mindfulness around, okay, I'm ready to eat. What do I do before that? Literally taking 5 breaths before you start eating and turning on your parasympathetic state. So our central nervous system is made up of a bunch of systems. Parasympathetic is our rest and digest system that activates when our body's actually relaxed enough to absorb nutrients. Our sympathetic state, when we're training, when we're stressed, when we're in traffic, that's when it's not optimal to actually eat or digest any food. So turning on your parasympathetic state, a few ways you can do this, but really if you're feeling like relaxed and almost sleepy to an extent, then you're ready to eat. So think about, you're at your desk for a long period of time, you're really stressed, working on emails. Okay, it's lunchtime, taking a step away from your desk and actually just breathing, looking at the food. If you're starting to salivate, your digestive enzymes are ready to break down food. Then you start chewing 20 to 30, I would even say, chews per bite. And again, being super mindful. So like looking at the food you're eating, not looking at a screen, looking at the people that you're sharing your meal with. So important for creating that parasympathetic response. The other thing I would say too is the 15-minute window after you've fully consumed your meal is so telling of how our body responds to the foods that we're eating and how we're eating it too. So if you've ever eaten like a steak really, really fast, it was just so good you couldn't wait, you're probably having gas, bloating, digestive issues later on, and not having regular and frequent bowel movements. So something we want to keep in mind is that it is so important to slow down and just enjoy your food. It tastes great. You probably made it at home if you're on this program, and yeah, we want you to notice that if you're getting those symptoms of like digestive stress, then you need to slow down a little bit.
Yeah. So I mean, these go together. I mean, starting this process of chewing your food, chewing it more, is going to force you to slow down. Taking a bite, chewing it, putting the fork down, waiting until you're done chewing it. These are ways that you can start to engage a little bit more mindfully within each meal that you have in your day. And so I think that like this is just a great topic to end on for the first week, because it really drives home sort of the major difference in how we're approaching this program versus perhaps other programs that you've been introduced to. We're developing tools that help us be more mindful of how food interacts with us, that allows us to feel what we're getting from the food and ultimately how the food is making us perform and look and experience life. We're going to dive in the future, in the coming weeks, especially next week. The next week's topic is going to be on the quality of the food. We're going to talk about what it means to eat high quality food, and then maybe dive a little bit deeper into this idea of how is the food making us feel after our meals, because it's such a telling thing that we have access to right away if we tune into it, as to whether we're eating the right stuff for ourselves or we're eating the wrong stuff. So we will see you next week in week 2. Have a great first week. Continue to track and log what you're eating, and update your points in Fitbot.